It's been a long, long journey. It's like I'm 52 years old, and trying to sum that up into some sort of concise statement is awful hard to do. All I can say is that I grew up in Alberta, totally, I guess, submerged in society, but I mean, my life was, I had so much fear and anxiety that I carried around with me all the time that it took all my energy to go out in public. It didn't leave much to think with. It didn't need much for anything else, and I found drugs to be the only actual relief that I could find, and well, that just sort of led to a spiral of drug addictions and various jails and institutions and overdoses. And of course, I eventually made it down to the Olympics of drug abuse in downtown Vancouver, Lower East Side. And well, I mean, everything's been paid for, right? Your methadone's paid on a daily basis, any other kind of pharmaceuticals to keep you sedated. You're living in small little rooms of that's you're paying, or the government's paying $3.75 for you. You have no needs, no real wants except for to worry about your drug addiction. And it just, I mean, I got stuck down here. It was like a black hole of addiction and endless circles, day after day of going to the pharmacy, picking up my methadone. And
could you explain what methadone is to people?
Methadone is a form of an opiate, so it's a replacement. They use it to replace heroin. If somebody's using on heroin, it's a liquid, and it seems to have some sort of life it allows you to, once you drink your methadone, you can go like a day and a half, 2 days at a time. So it's a long-acting opiate replacement, but I don't know exactly the story behind it. Apparently the Germans made it in World War II and brought it out here, but the government's found that it's what they want to keep people on, rather than having them on heroin or any other kind of drugs. It definitely gets a hold of you. It permeated my entire being, so much so that I would have my drink in the morning, and that I found that everything else was acceptable. I could live down here surrounded in the midst of drug addiction and just really low-class housing and bed bugs and just...
But it made it all right.
Yeah, and it made everything seem okay.
Even though you're living in quite literally the depths of hell, yeah. Methadone kind of puts a warm blanket over you. Yeah,
I used to always call it a warm hug, and I would drink it, and every day I would feel like everything was okay. And then it seemed to allow me to give myself permission to continue using crack, or to continue using or to use other drugs, because, well, one more day. I mean, it was just so there was nothing with that methadone substitution or replacement for heroin that would that addressed the particular issues that caused were the beginning of my drug addiction.
What about kind of the last 6 months since you discovered Ibogaine, or could you maybe just tell your whole story related to Ibogaine, how it came into your life?